Here, I can't believe it's 2024, and we're really starting off the show with a great guest right in my wheelhouse, mobile, wireless, and customer engagement with Jeff Miller, CEO at Synchronoss. Jeff, how are you?
Terrific. Good morning and Happy New Year to you and to your constituency.
Thanks so much for joining. I'm really excited for this chat in the run up to CES and Mobile World Congress. Lots of discussion on this topic. Before that, maybe introduce yourself and
Absolutely.
your role.
Sure. Hi, my name is Jeff Miller, President and CEO of Synchronoss Technologies. We are a software provider that primarily serves the telecom community. We'll talk more about it during the course of the conversation, but we have large clients such as Verizon, AT&T in the US, clients like BT in Europe, and SoftBank in Japan, utilizing our software solutions to deal with their subscribers.
Yeah, it's an amazing mission, and really you have a who's who of customers. Tell us a little bit about the genesis story of Synchronoss, and you have a really intriguing backstory as well. Maybe give us a little bit of history.
Sure. It was founded over 20 years ago,
Wow.
actually, by our executive chairman, Steve Waldis, who's still part of the company. And it was primarily driven around digital activation solutions at the time. And the company really shot up and went public at a time when the company had software solutions and a BPO service that backed up the activation process for the first generation of iPhones.
Hmm.
That put the company on the map with AT&T, obviously, in the US as the primary client. Over time, expanded the portfolio of digital solutions to cloud services, messaging services, and so forth. And actually, we've now sort of pivoted to refocus on the cloud portion of the business, which is really the definition of what our future is going to be.
Yeah, it's really intriguing. You talk a lot about subscriber engagement and the personal cloud and subscriber activation and empowerment. Give us a deeper dive on that mission. What's the big idea there?
Well, as you can imagine, right, preferred methods of communications have constantly been evolving, and that's driven by technology or other environmental factors and what people and humans want to experience. So we've all observed the explosion of content capture that's been enabled by smartphones. And in fact, right, there's more smartphones out in the world than there are people. Um, but the desire to share has never been higher. And as a result of that, we're trying to make sure that our software solutions make it intuitive and simple for you to capture and share your content, whether it's your contact information, your pictures, your videos, and doing so in a manner that's very immediate. So, about 3 years ago, we actually set on a strategy where we prioritized our ability to enable that and accelerate it through Synchronoss Cloud Solutions. And our solutions are white labeled. So, in other
Mm.
words, we provide the capability and the complete end to end consumer experience, but you know us as Verizon Cloud or AT&T Personal Cloud or BT Cloud. Or in Japan, we're known as Anshin Data Box, which means private and secure. And it's a means by which to deliver that content to subscribers in a way that's protected, confidently protected, tightly secure, but also accessible to those that you hope for. And that's really what drives us to try to make sure that our solution is not just a storage locker, but one that actually is an engaging experience for visual content.
Interesting. Yes, I have lots of storage lockers and I lose stuff there all the time. So this sounds intriguing. EngageX is the brand or maybe the family of products. Maybe describe the suite of solutions and services and how it stands out in this
Yeah.
market.
Well, we had EngageX was one of the three pillars of the company, actually focused on engaging consumers with their content. And both under that umbrella, we had our cloud solution offerings like Verizon Cloud and our messaging offerings. And the company was in the messaging business for nearly 20 years, following the acquisition of a company called OpenWave. We recently divested a couple of businesses, including our messaging business, to focus every aspect of our company now on our cloud solutions, which are all under that EngageX experience arena. And what that means is we utilize technologies like AI and machine learning to better anticipate what kind of content that you've already captured and maybe forgot about you'd like to relive or use as a reminder or brighten your day. because you want a reminder of a birthday or a trip that you took recently. And you may also want to quickly share that with somebody that's relevant or personal to your lifestyle. So that's the way we drive our software, to make that process intuitive and to do so in a way that even allows you as a consumer to enhance that content over time, utilizing generative AI. So you might take an image that you captured of the Eiffel Tower and turn it into a pencil sketch version of the same, creating a bit of new artwork that you might share with others. And that is all capable on the Synchronoss platform.
Interesting. Well, we're not doing a demo today, but sounds intriguing. So I love the telcos. I actually have SIMs on every telco in the US, believe it or not, as a total mobile
Wow,
geek, eSIMs. But
good.
I don't buy any other services from the telcos. I have G Suite and Microsoft and about six, eight others. So, is this an opportunity for telcos? Is that the big idea, to upsell new services, value-added services, sticky services?
Exactly.
What's the business model that you have in mind?
Yeah, you're exactly right on. And the situation is as follows. As I mentioned, we have now more cell phones out there than there are people. So
Mm,
penetration of mobile devices is well over 100%. Most people have more than one device. So as now those telcos are trying to find ways to grow in the future, they can only do so much with subscriber penetration that's already been achieved.
mm,
The way that they can grow their businesses on a sustainable basis is to leverage the relationship they have with those subscribers by adding new forms of services to them, revenue generating services preferably. And in the case of cloud services, we are a client offering that allows them to complement their voice and data services
mm.
and grow their business, because you can charge, and in the entire marketplace is accepting and expecting and shifting to paid for subscription services for digital content management, both storage, access, and retrieval. And as such, now we're finding that Verizon, AT&T, other clients around the globe are all looking for ways to grow their average revenue per user, ARPU, and do so through value-added services. And we have proven time and again with our clients that our solution enables them to do so. It also endears those subscribers to their brand in a way that's different than just paying your voice or data bill.
Mm.
And it improves customer retention in the form of churn statistically. So that we know, for example, a customer at BT is 5 times less likely to churn off a BT service because they are a BT cloud subscriber. There's great value in that to those companies.
Oh, fantastically interesting. And we know that Google and Apple, as the mobile behemoths,
Yeah,
get tremendous amounts of data on their customers, and really valuable analytics and really valuable insights, actionable insights. And so, 2024, the year of AI, is really the year of data.
right.
What else can your carrier customers get beyond just selling them a service? I assume there's a lot of value in the data, the insight, usage patterns, et cetera, they're getting from these services.
There are, but you make an interesting distinction here. We do compete in many respects with Google and the iCloud from Apple, who utilize that information oftentimes for other forms of consumer monetization.
Mm,
In the case of our solutions, our cloud services through our carrier customers are private by design.
mm,
It creates a distinction from some of those other cloud service providers who
uh-huh.
leverage that content for advertising or other forms of monetization. And we believe this simple principle complements the trusted relationship that our global service provider customers have and enjoy with their subscribers. So there is a clear privatization, if you will, distinction we try to make. And then to further enhance our proposition, all the digital content that we capture is stored and encrypted such that it
Mhm.
can't be accessed. So the security aspect of our solution is also a key element for a consumer's peace of mind. And as I mentioned, Anshin Data Box, which is the label that SoftBank uses for their service offering, is really referenced all on peace of mind. So consumers in Japan can feel confident that they can allow their personal content to be captured in the cloud, managed by SoftBank, and that they know that it's not going to be utilized for any other purpose. And just to further expand on that proposition, We've enhanced our solution to include even a private folder aspect, password protected private folder for select content, to allow the subscriber to say, these content items, all of these photos, the wedding I just attended that I want to share all the
Mm.
videos for, that can be shared with anybody that I choose. But certain items, passport information, vaccine documents to be more relevant in the current times, those can be put into a private folder so that that consumer has a peace of mind that they can protect that digital content no matter what circumstances arise.
Yeah, that's a great proposition. We all know the world around the world, there are different priorities around data privacy and data protection. And here in the US, we're pretty lackadaisical. So I imagine that's really important in Europe and
Absolutely.
Japan and other places. Very cool. You talk a lot about personalization. How far can you go there and talk about AI and what that means for personalization, if you would?
Yeah. So today we use machine learning to enable personalization, which means we will present back to you highlights and flashbacks to key events in your life or key milestones, such that you have the opportunity or you're invited to engage with that content and reminded that you might want to share it with other people who might have been captured in those same images. It also allows you to do that, of course, with contact information for key people so that you can communicate more easily across your universe of social circles. Um, Beyond machine learning, which enables a lot of that suggestive kind of content sharing, we are utilizing AI in a number of ways. First, today, through our solution, we use something we call Genius, which enables you to take black and white content and to colorize it so
Oh,
that you
wow.
have the ability to refresh even existing and old and aged content. You also have the ability to change it into other forms of content utilizing digital filters, such as I mentioned, like a pencil sketch, or
Mm.
we even do a watercolor application so I can take a picture of a lion I just saw in the zoo and create a watercolor version of that same image, allowing you to create your own unique piece of artwork and then annotate on it as well. So you really now have an opportunity to engage with the content, make it more creative, even though it was something that you might have captured years ago. We also will use AI to be more intelligent about the way we store content. As you can appreciate, all of this content capture creates a massive need to store and organize that data. And as such, we want to do so in the most intelligent and cost effective manner. So we'll be utilizing AI to place that content in the most cost effective place to ensure that it's available to you when you want it, but not in the most expensive, kind of storage mechanism that's available. And that allows the operating efficiency of our ecosystem to operate effectively.
Fantastic approach. Talk about the user experience, the user interface. Is that designed by you? Is it your carrier partners who builds that? How does that look and feel?
We design the user experience from the application that's on the device
Mm.
through every engagement that they have to cap the way they capture information, the way they share the information, the way they look at it, the way we represent it back to them through those flashbacks and highlights. But we do
Mm.
so in collaboration with our customers. So there are priorities and unique priorities for different cultures. We recently launched the solution with the SoftBank Cloud. And of course, as we personalized and localized our cloud solution that had mostly been utilized in Western Europe and in the US, we had to make some modifications, both to the user design, to the physical layout, of course, to the language. And all of that personalization is done in collaboration with our clients. So we run quarterly roadmap planning with our clients. And then we also look to the outside market to find other ways to continue to innovate on our platform to make sure that we make use of the best that might be available through open source avenues as well.
Fantastic. So you have over 200 carrier customers, I understand. How do you, all around the world, how do you support those guys? That's a lot of travel time, I
It is a
imagine,
lot of
and road
travel.
time as well.
Well, we are a global company. And as such, we have members of our team from all around the world. We have offices in the United States, of course. Our primary office in Europe is in Dublin, Ireland. Primarily office in Asia is in Japan and Tokyo, where we've had longstanding relationships with many of the customers that are out in those markets. So we have to be with our customers in the face of our customers. We'll also be with those customers at the venues you just talked about. I'll be
Hmm.
next week in Vegas with CES and meeting with many of our current clients and new prospects. Similarly, I'll probably join you in Barcelona for Mobile World Congress coming up at the end of February. And we utilize those venues because they are congregations of the global community and allow us to speak to a lot of our clients and also to do what I'd like to do today, which would be to demonstrate that user experience, because it's quite simple from the time that you access the application, which, by the way, is done through the digital onboarding as you upgrade a device or purchase a new
Hmm.
device. That makes it presented to the consumer, usually with a consumer offer that says, why don't you try this for 30 days for free? And then you can subscribe to the service if you find it of value. But we're part of the digital onboarding process for Verizon, for AT&T, for that device setup, which is critical to the success of our company because it puts us in a 100% confident presentment to the consumer to let them know about the value proposition in front of them.
Very cool. Let's get a little geeky for a second on the infrastructure side, if we could. Um, when you talk about living in the cloud, is this in the data center of your customer? Is it like a public cloud application or hybrid cloud or any of
Terrific.
the above? Like, how do you deploy this system and scale to the
Yes.
kind of enormous numbers that you're talking about?
Well, the answer actually is all of the above.
Oh, okay. Well, that was easy.
And the reason it's all of the above because different clients have different
Hmm.
investments of their own infrastructure that they may or may not want to utilize. So, in the case of Verizon, we've had a decades-long relationship with Verizon. So we've had a cloud service that started off as just a contact database since 2013. So now we're at 2023 into 2024, starting our 11th year with Verizon. Now, and we also just signed a commercial relationship with them that extends that relationship all the way to 2030. So it's a good sticky service in and of itself. But more importantly, what we find ourselves in a situation is being able to be flexible with our software platform to reside where it should reside in the most economic manner. So in the case of Verizon, while it has changed over time during the course of that decade, today we're leveraging Verizon's infrastructure. They have a very low cost set of their own infrastructure to actually store the digital content, the library of photos and images and videos and data content.
Hmm.
We handle in our data center the software application and the refereeing of where all that content actually gets stored across the databases of Verizon. In the case of AT&T, we manage the relationship with AWS. We use hyperscalers and sort of got out of our own capital intensive data warehousing, but we manage the relationship with AWS and every aspect of that on behalf of AT&T and run the entire end-to-end both application as well as data storage. And then in Japan, we do it a little bit differently. Again, we utilize SoftBank's relationship with AWS. We manage it on their behalf, but it is their instance, if you will, of AWS that we use. So the good news is the platform is independent of any physical environment. It's independent of a decision on where the data can be stored. And that flexibility gives us the ability to work in collaboration with clients and match whatever their solution, what their services are and what might best complement the cost structure.
Brilliant. So I think the same question applies to integration. These telco networks can be, no disrespect, kind of messy.
Yes.
Lots of legacy systems and interfaces and APIs and OSS and BSS, and it's a little overwhelming. How does that work? I mean, how long does it take you to integrate into a customer environment?
Well, that's a great point. And it's actually part of the unique DNA that
Hmm.
is Synchronoss Technologies. By virtue of the history of 20 plus years of integrating into very complex and legacy heavy environments, we have unique expertise at doing so in a manner that allows those carriers to trust us to be very deeply into their environments, meet their or exceed their security requirements, which are constantly changing, as you can appreciate, and getting on their IT cycles when things have to be upgraded and changed. So it does take time to do so. In the case of SoftBank, I'll use is a really extreme example because it was a
Hmm.
new market, um, a new aspect of our relationship with SoftBank, and we built over the course of the last 12 months the tight integration tested that environment, put it through tremendous capacity threshold testing and evaluation. Of course, changed the entire language structure and much of the UI. And that
Mm,
took us about a year to do so. So we
mm.
launched on November 1st their Anshin Data Box service after a lot of preparation. And we are now poised to take off in the marketplace thanks to their collaboration with us. And you find that it's very difficult to actually know the distinction between those working on this program who are SoftBank or Synchronoss employees because we have to work that closely together. And the same is certainly very true of our longstanding relationships with companies like Verizon and AT&T.
Well, a year is fast. To those listening, believe it or not, I've been on 3 to 5 year projects that didn't always succeed. So, well, well done with that. We're in the new year. Any trends, opportunities in the mobile space you're particularly excited about? Standards or platforms? There's just so much going on. What keeps you up at night?
Well, you mentioned, of course, entering a new year of AI, and
Mm.
AI was probably the most talked about topic of 2023. I expect that's only going to continue in 2024. What that enables is an entire set of innovations that are happening all around the marketplace, many of which are open source. And that
Mm.
allows us to take advantage of spanning the marketplace, making sure that we see what's already been invented that we can apply in our platform so we don't have to reinvent it. And we think that's going to create a whole new series of innovation and engagement with consumers on cloud services because we can make it more interesting. We can make it even more simple and seamless and frictionless for you to interact with your services. And that's one trend that we are very pleased to already be fully taking advantage of and integrated into the solution. We're not hyping AI, we're using AI, and we're just going to try to continue to use the innovation of the marketplace. I'm also excited about ongoing innovation inside of Synchronoss. We go through our own annual process we call Innovation Jam. And last year, we had over 75 teams compete with over 300 employees contributing new concepts and ideas to how they can enhance the consumer experience, add new feature functionality. And that competitive process and competitive juices is part of our culture that helps us stay at the forefront of innovation and test and challenge new ideas. So only the best get to rise to the top and then get implemented into the platform. So that part's a fun part as well, not only industry wide, but inside the whole company.
That is brilliant. And I've never heard of such a thing. What a great idea. Hope
It's
folks
really a great
copy your approach. Wonderful. So you mentioned CES, you mentioned MWC. What other trips, travel do you have coming up? Anything you'd like to share?
Well, I leave tomorrow, as I mentioned to you. I go visit our team at our headquarters in New Jersey, but more importantly, I'll be at Verizon's doorstep the next day. And we start the year with our customer engagement planning for 2024. Of course, many of our plans are well in place for the new year. And most of the growth that's really going to drive our company through 2024 and the next 2 years will be with our existing customers, continuing to find ways to help invite their subscribers to take advantage of their branded cloud service offerings. So a lot of those dialogues will happen. And that means I'll be in Japan within the first quarter visiting our clients there. And I just left there at the end of fourth quarter. I'll be back in Europe in addition to MWC with more of our work in the UK with BT. And that gets me excited. Great way to start the year. The pandemic is certainly well behind us, I think, at this point. And while there's still a few masks on the airplanes and in some offices, most people are welcoming clients and their partners to be back involved with them, which is fun for us.
Yeah, it's a big sea change. It's wonderful to be back in person. And thanks so much for joining. Thanks for sharing your pretty impressive vision and outlook. It's really optimistic, which is a great way to start the year. And thanks for your time, Jeff. And everyone watching, reach out. They have great social presence, so you'll find them everywhere. And look forward to seeing you at MWC.
Terrific. I look forward to seeing you there. And thank you very much for the opportunity to start the year this way. We really appreciate it. I wish you all the
Likewise.
best in 2024.
Likewise. Thanks, everyone.